Hey my dudes, my name is Cecilia and welcome to my kitchen here in Stockholm, Sweden. This week we are making Blåbärsbullar. These are blueberry buns and they are so delicious. They're so summery and they're just so fresh. Frozen blueberries are gonna work super well in this recipe. That's actually what I'm going to be using today. But you know what? Let me just show you. Let's just get started.
Into the bowl of your stand mixer, place 200 grams of butter, 550 grams of milk, 1,100 grams of flour, 200 grams of sugar, 15 grams of salt, 23 grams of cardamom, and 70 grams of fresh yeast. Place on your stand mixer and, using the hook attachment, mix on slow for 5 minutes. We want the dough to just come together. After 5 minutes, kick the speed up to medium fast for about 30 minutes. We want to build up a lot of strength in the gluten. To see if the dough is ready, wet your fingers and stretch out a piece of dough. See how thin this piece gets? I can almost read through it. And it's not ripping or tearing. It's definitely ready to go. Take your dough out of the bowl and form into a rectangular-ish shape. Wrap in plastic so it doesn't get any dry spots, and put in the fridge to rest for 1 hour. While that's resting and cooling, put 300 grams of butter, 250 grams of sugar, 3 grams of vanilla sugar, and 3 grams of salt into a bowl and mix together to make the butter filling. The key to this is to use really well softened butter, otherwise it's a real pain in the butt. Once that's really mixed together, set to the side, but do not refrigerate.
Let's do this, boys and girls. A little bit of flour on top, flip it over, a little bit more flour, light dusting. For the shape of buns that we're making today, we want this side to be longer than this side. So we're gonna form a rectangle. This is our long side, this is our short side. That way, when we fold it into thirds and we start to roll it out this way, it's still nice and thick, so we get nice thin strips. If our strips are really fat and wide like this, it's gonna make it really hard for us to twist the buns into the shape I have in my head. This dough is nice and chilled, and so it just feels like a dream to roll out right now. So a little sticky, so we're gonna add a touch more flour just so it doesn't stick so much. We're stretching, we're relaxing, we're making sure it's not stuck to the table. We're just checking it out, we're checking in. We're seeing, dough, how you doing today? How you doing right now? What do you need from us? Do I have any thick spots? Do I have any thin spots? Anything I need to adjust and fix? You want your sides to be as straight as possible. Now, obviously, we're not gonna go crazy here. This is not straight, it doesn't matter. Pull it down a little bit. Like, you want your edges to be as straight as possible, but like within reason. All right, there we go, easy peasy. And I'm gonna say that our long sides are almost double the size, or maybe like 1.5 to 2 times the size of this. Now, I'm not gonna like measure this, measure with your heart. It should be a large rectangle. If it is rectangular in shape, you're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Our butter filling that you did not put in the fridge, that you left out on the counter so it is nice and soft. Offset boy here. And you just want a nice, thin, even layer. You want it to be as even as you can possibly get it. Again, within reason. We're having fun. We're not, baking buns for the king or something. It's just us. Now we've gotten to the fun part. Take a lemon and you're just gonna zest all over. Could we have added lemon zest to the butter filling? Yes. Did I do that? No. Why? I don't know. I thought this was fun. If you think it's more fun to add the zest to the filling and then spread it all out together, cool story. You do that. That sounds like an excellent idea. You also can skip the lemon zest if lemon zest is not your vibe. Lemon and blueberry are like best friends, so it's just nice to add a little bit of like freshness. Making sure I don't have any spots that don't have lemon zest. All right, I'm gonna call that good enough for a government job. So I have a box of Swedish blueberries. This would be great with fresh blueberries. Just, put them on as I'm putting on these frozen blueberries. But yeah, you definitely want to get the small, very blue, like wild ones if you can. Obviously, you can sub this with any blueberry that you find. You could definitely do this with like pretty much any other berry. This would definitely be great to do with raspberries. You do you, babe. Do whatever you want. But I highly recommend wild blueberries. Just take your frozen bloobs and we just want a nice even layer all over. These have so much flavor. I don't want like a straight layer of blueberries. That would be almost like too much, I feel like. Kind of press them in so they don't go flying everywhere. And it's nice when they're frozen too, actually, because they really like stick to the butter. I mean, they stick to the butter when they're fresh too, but I feel like the frozen ones, they just kind of go like... When making these, do not use clothes that you find precious, because these blueberries will stain absolutely everything in your life. So you're just gonna fold the top third down. And when you're doing that, even though we've pressed the blueberries in, you do want to move with confidence, right? You want to go flip. You don't want to with your dough. Take the bottom third and we're going to flip up. There we go. And we're going to pull it into place like that and press, press, press. Really sealing in my edges here so I don't have any blueberries like going wild on me. Move your dough a little bit. Extra flour here. And we're moving her down. When using the frozen blueberries, they're real cold. They're gonna make your dough pretty stiff, or at least stiffer. Just have that in your mind as you're rolling these out. Okay, and we're lifting gently from underneath and moving so we can add even more flour, and we're moving back and rolling out longwise. All right, so we're already getting blueberry action. They're just gonna go everywhere. Making sure I'm nice and even. Because I have a marble countertop and like I rent this apartment, we're gonna do things slightly differently today, just out of caution. Have a tray here, put down a layer of parchment paper, and I'm gonna take my cutting board. And now normally I cut directly on my marble. My knife is super dull. This is my pastry knife I use in every single bun video. And I know that it's not gonna score the marble. I'm super worried about the blueberries staining my marble, so I'm not even gonna mess around with it today. In a bakery setting, I would want my buns to be around 100 grams. Today, we're looking for between 80 and 90. I feel like that's a more reasonable size at home. I don't know why, but when I go to a bakery, a 100-gram bun seems like totally normal. But when I'm at home and I make a 100-gram bun, it seems like, what in the America is the size of this bun? You know what I mean? Get our trusty scale out and see if we can't hit between 80 and 90. That was 103. Okay, maybe we're having buns that are 100 today. 89. Okay, so we want real thin here, real long and thin. And we're putting them on our tray. I am warning you right now, you are going to get blueberry juice literally everywhere. So don't wear nice clothes, wear nice gloves if you don't want to stain your hands like I'm doing right now. These strips are maybe about 1 centimeter wide, but again, you have to measure with a scale. They can be a little bit heavier. They can be a little bit smaller. They could be 60 grams if you wanted to make them that little. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that it's gonna affect is your proofing time and your baking time. So they do need to be even. You want them to be like as equal as possible so that they proof and bake at the same rate. But if you wanna make them real jumbo, you do that. If you wanna make them real itty bitty, you can do that as well. I am giving you permission to do what you want. Another tray for us to put all of our buns onto. Again, technique-wise, you could definitely roll directly on your countertop, but I so do not want to stain my countertop the way I'm really staining my hands. So I'm putting a piece of parchment down, and we are going to twist, okay? And then you twist and tuck in. Let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, bring it together, twist it around, tuck it in. 1, 2, helping out my middle, 3, bring it together, twist it around, here's my hole, and I'm tucking them in. Also, in case you are wondering, and you've seen any of my other bun videos, you can do any bun shape for this. It doesn't have to be this twist. I did this twist with blueberry buns at a bakery I worked at back in like 2016. So that's why I like to do this particular shape for these particular buns. Pick a shape that you like and you do that. For instance, if you used the cinnamon roll technique where you just make a big log of dough and then slice right through it, it'd be a lot less messy. I'm alone. So I'm gonna bake these off later, but these 5 are for me today and for me to show you. So these ones are gonna get proofed and the rest of these are gonna get frozen until a later date. And if you need any more information on how to freeze them, how to store them, how to bake them off from frozen, how to defrost them, how to reheat buns, all of that stuff you can find in this video up here. Put that to the side. Take our plastic wrap that we saved from when we wrapped the dough. Didn't have to crumple it up, now did I? Could have made this easier for myself, but here we are. And we wanna wrap them real loose like. We do this so that they don't dry out, so that they don't form a skin. And we don't want them to form a skin because when they form a skin, then the yeast keeps proofing, but the skin is holding it down and it can't expand fully, and they don't turn out nice. Now you could place a tea towel over these, that would be fine as well, but I think that tea towels let in a little bit too much air and let out a little bit too much moisture. I prefer plastic wrap because then less moisture gets out and less air gets in. So I'm kind of sealing up my sides a little bit here, but I've also left the plastic wrap really like loose over the top. And you want that because as the buns like expand and they grow bigger, if the plastic wrap is like really hard on top of them, as they try to expand, the plastic wrap will like hold them down and your buns will be like, whoa, looking, which we don't like. We don't want that. We want our buns to be like, looking. So let these sit out and proof until they are double in size. We're not really going off of time here. We're going off of how they look, and how they look should be doubled in size. It's been a little bit over an hour and these guys are looking puffy, they're looking beautiful, they're looking doubled in size. We love to see it. I'm being very careful not to continue to stain my fingers now that I washed my hands 10 trillion times so they're not stained. There we go. Yep, they're doubled in size, they're very light and poofy, and also when I press into it, it doesn't spring back. That's what we're looking for. They are definitely fully proofed and they are going into a 400 Fahrenheit oven for, I'm gonna guess, around 8 minutes. While our buns are baking, we're gonna do 2 things. The first thing we're gonna do is take one of our zested lemons and juice half of it. Oh, these are really juicy lemons. Nice. And into that, we're gonna throw some powdered sugar. We're making a nice little lemony glaze here. And I'm not measuring this, I'm just measuring this with my heart. I want a nice, thick glaze. It is amazing to me, like it continues to shock me how much powdered sugar you need in glazes like this. The liquid just sucks it up. Now you don't have to make this glaze if you're not a glaze person. I tend to be a glaze kind of gal. Beautiful, that's what I want. You can do a looser glaze, you could do a thicker glaze. You could make the glaze with water, you could make the glaze with milk. You could do the glaze with blueberry juice. You get the idea? Make whatever glaze you want. Don't make a glaze. You do you, babe. Piping bag is all set up. Also super important is we are going to egg wash these buns. Yes, we are going to egg wash them after they come out of the oven. I know, hugely controversial. Listen guys, this is why you're gonna egg wash afterwards. When you egg wash before, yes, you get a really nice shine. Cool story, great. When you egg wash after, you get the same shine, but you also are adding moisture to the crust. So the crust, there is no crust. The bun becomes unbelievably soft and moist. And here's the thing, because I know a lot of people, whenever I do this, are like, oh my God, you're trying to give us food poisoning. Holy guacamole. The thing is that you are brushing a super thin layer of egg over a bun that is screaming hot. Screaming hot. It cooks instantly. Like you put it on, it's baked off. It's cooked egg. There's no raw egg about this, all right? So you're getting all the benefits with like nothing bad. If you don't buy it, you don't believe me, you don't wanna do that, cool story, bro. Thank you so much, don't do it. Egg wash them before, don't egg wash them at all. Use simple syrup instead of egg wash. And also with the egg washing afterwards, this is not a technique that like I came up with out of my own little head. I have done this at multiple bakeries here in Sweden. This is a technique that professionals use. Look how beautiful they are. Aren't they gorgeous? Yes. All right, egg wash while they're still hot. Hot, hot, hot. I did leave these in a minute or two longer than I normally would have, because when I checked them at 8 minutes, even though the tops were browning really nicely, I realized that they're just like sitting in a puddle of blueberry juice, and I wanted to make sure that they were like fully cooked. These actually went for like 9-10 minutes, 9.5 minutes. Just something to consider. It's a little bit better with these just because there's so much liquid because of all the blueberries that you bake them for an extra minute than you underbake them. And now we just have to wait for them to cool. I've let these buns sit here for about 10 minutes, which frankly is all that I have patience for. Just want to pop these up here. We're gonna go directly back over here so I can glaze them without getting my countertop dirty. All right, so cut a small hole in your piping bag, or if you don't have piping bags, you can just use a spoon to drizzle this over, but I have a piping bag, so I'm gonna use that. And let's see, I don't know how, let's see what we're working with here. Oh my God. There's something, I have to say, aggressively American about the way I'm doing this glazing. But you know what? I am American. These are very Swedish buns. They do look a little American. That's really funny. The best of both worlds. Drizzle, 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 drizzle. Okay, I know they're not gonna taste like it, but they kind of look like those buns or donuts or whatever that you get at a gas station, you know? Like they look like a Hostess cake. I don't know how I feel about that. That was not my intention, but here we are. And now, for the best part of my day, I get to eat one. I'm gonna eat one straight off the tray. You know why? Because I'm at home and I can. Ha ha ha. Oh my God. Wow, that lemon glaze really puts in a lot of work, really freshening it up. I really am such an American. I love a good glaze. Sorry, not sorry. I love a good glaze. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this week's video and would like to watch more videos like it, then go ahead and click here. If you would like to watch even more bun videos, I have a whole bun playlist, and that's gonna be right here. And if you just think I'm the bee's knees, then go ahead and subscribe right here. I hope you have a great week and that I'll see you next week. Hejdå!